All right, all right, all right. Good morning, Mob family. Welcome to Mob TV, episode 107. All right, so you're going to hear my voice. It's our Kaffeeklatsch. You're going to hear that this is my Mob TV horse voice, Kaffeeklatsch voice. So I hope everyone's doing well. Let me make sure I can see the comments and see who's here. Yeah, everybody's. Oh, clicked away from it. No, it seems to be acting much better this time. I lowered the DPI and a lot of stuff. So let's see. I say that as I can't read anything. Good morning, Connie. Good morning, Marie. Let's see who else is here. Enid, good morning. Let's see. Good morning, Richard. Good morning. Good morning, Evan. Chris Mendoza. Good morning. What else we got? Heather, good morning. Make a second cup of coffee. That's all. Everyone's very good. I'm good this morning. Benna, good morning. Let's see. Audrey, good morning. Rico, good morning. Does this show up on YouTube chat? Well, it shows up as you're on Facebook, Rico. It's not on the YouTube feed. Two separate platforms. Good morning, Linda. Let's see what else do we have. Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, some features are better on YouTube, unfortunately. Good morning, Jasmine. Hello, Enid. Orlando. Yes, changed my name to Orlando. I think it's cool variation. Can you guys hear me okay? Or do I need to modify the audio? Let me know. Give me some feedback on how you can hear me, because today we are rocking the new mic. So, good morning for me. Who's saying evening? Good evening. I always say it's good morning for me because it's 11:30 EST. It's whatever time it is for you guys. Yeah. So I got a new mic. John Logsdon turned me on to which mic to get. So this is like a podcasting mic. It's really good. It's really pricey, but it's really heavy. It's dense. It's like it's a good mic, and it's also a good weapon. But that's just because my martial arts brain. Oh, my martial arts brain always thinks, would this make a good weapon? So let me know if I have to. I could raise the gain, like the volume, so it picks up even more and it gets even more sensitive, or I can lower it. So let me know if I'm a little dull or whatever. And today I'm wearing my new. It's not that the hat is all damaged. This is a distressed hat, swag from the M&S store. Who's laughing? That you? Who's that?
That's Jillian.
Oh, hello, Jillian. Welcome.
And the evening was Sally.
Sally.
Sally Needham Hyatt.
Oh, welcome, Sally. I think this is the first time I see you here. So welcome. Okay, I'm glad it's coming across clearly. Fantastic.
Hello, everyone.
Can you hear Dolly? Speak, because just speak regular voice, because last time I had to yell. Say hello again. Say again.
Hello, guys.
Can you guys hear Dolly? You should be able to. Yesterday I tested it with Z. She was standing way on the other side of the room, and the mic was picking up everything. It's crazy. Yeah, you can hear Dolly. Excellent. Look, they can hear you. Fantastic. So how's everyone this morning? Okay, so I'm going to be talking, but if you hear me crack, my voice cracks or things like that, it's just because I'm revisiting puberty. So do not be disturbed. Yeah, okay, she doesn't take credit for this, but Dolly's the one who submitted that book for the BOOKBUB, and she has, I don't know, some special mojo where they accepted the book for the BOOKBUB. If you don't know, or if you're not an author, it's hard for you. It would be hard for you to know. No way I can expect you to know. Getting a BOOKBUB deal, a BOOKBUB featured deal, is hard. I mean, not difficult, not challenging, hard. I know authors who've submitted books for a BOOKBUB. I know one author who's done it 67 times and still hasn't gotten one. Dolly submitted Two Millions and Butterflies a few months ago, got it on her first try. Then she submitted Iker. They said, nah, we don't want Iker right now. And then she submitted Warriors of the Way, the Spiritual Warriors. First time she submitted that one, got it. So either Dolly knows somebody at BookBub that I don't know about, or she's got some special BookBub mojo. So she's going to be the one doing BookBub submissions from now on, because apparently whatever she's doing is working. And she won't take credit for it because, you know, she doesn't, that's not how she is. But I credit her for it because I've tried it. I've tried it with TMB a few times. I got it the first time I tried it, and at 99 cents, which again is another hard thing to do. And then I tried it after that, and they were like, nah, we don't want you right now. And then she tries it her first time, and I'm telling her, don't get your hopes up, because BookBub, they're really strict. They turn everyone down. It's really hard. She gets to get the email, oh, you've been selected for a BookBub feature deal. I'm like, really? Make me look foolish. So how is everyone doing? May I have the agenda for the day? Thank you. The agenda's coming. Look, wow, agenda for the day. Awesome. All right, so let me give shout outs to everyone who's here. Yes, Dolly does rule for sure. All right, shout outs. Shout out to everyone on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. I'm going to try to not tax my voice, but it's gonna be hard to do because this is me talking. Yeah, I had one. I had a touch of a cold. How long was my cold? 3 days? Mm-hmm. It's like 3 days. It wasn't a knock me down to out, you know, but I wasn't. The first day I felt a little felt weird. The second day I think was the hardest day. I felt like, okay, I gotta rest. The third day, which was yesterday, I was losing my voice. It was crazy. And it was like, oh, I'm gonna lose my voice. And then I gotta do MoB tomorrow. I don't know how it's gonna sound like Darth Vader tomorrow. So tell Stacy I said hello, Jasmine, and a big hug. So now I can go, Luke, I am your father. I can do that, you know. So I can. Dolly's telling me I need to do narrations now, right? I could do some.
It's a very short window of time.
The short window for narrations, like what, a day, maybe 2 days. So it wasn't bad. My body was. It's very rare for me to get really sick, even though I did get COVID when it first hit. I got COVID and I was down for what, 3 weeks? It was 3 weeks of that was bad. That was really bad. But 3 days, I'll take it. And 3 days, and I was only achy one day. But I do what I tell Dolly is I go into healing hibernation. I just stay in bed, I stay away from everything, dark, and I sleep. I let my body recover. So I tell Dolly I'm on auto repair. I just kind of program it in, go into healing hibernation, and I crash. So yeah. I'm sorry that my voice sounds like this. If I could make it sound normal, I would. But, you know, these things happen. It's part of the package, you know. But usually what I do is I'll sleep and I'll eat. I'll usually eat. I try to eat as normally as possible because the food lets my body recover and repair. And I always try to sleep when I'm ill because, and oh yeah, Gatorade. Tali immediately goes to like, goes for a Gatorade run because she knows me. I need Gatorade, electrolytes. And so, you know, I do that. And then I recover pretty quickly. My body's really, thankfully, my body's really healthy. And then, you know, a lot of years of training, a lot of years of martial arts. So yeah, author repair. Yeah, that's what it should be, author repair. Welcome, Paige. And yes, you are fashionably late. So that's excellent. All right, let me just shout out everyone. Shout out to everyone on YouTube. Hello, YouTube world. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being here. Don't forget so you know my spiel. So YouTube, everyone here, make sure you share, you like, you subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So please spread the word. Help us spread the word to get to 1,000 subscribers. And then, you know, we'll go from 1,000 to 10,000, from 10,000 to 100,000, from 100,000 to like 1 million. So little by little, we'll get there, right? It's not a race. We're just trying to have milestones to reach, okay? Everyone on Instagram, I haven't really posted on Instagram, but it's been busy. It's Thanksgiving, and I'm in the middle of Shadow Queen. We'll get to that later. So there's been a lot of stuff going on, but I'll get on Instagram a little bit more in December, I believe, because Shadow Queen will be done. Then I'm jumping into Monty and Strong 22 and Peanut and Kai, which is Patreon 13. So we'll discuss a little bit of all that. I'm sorry, not Peanut. Well, yeah, maybe Peanut and Kai instead of the. Oh no, I haven't. I have a story for Monty and Strong Christmas. It's going to be awesome. Yes, Peanut and Kai is the next one for March. I apologize. Okay, so that'll be it. We'll get some more Instagram stuff in December. Zazzle. Okay, this is my Zazzle swag moment. This is my new hat from Zazzle. It's distressed. It's not that it's been ruined. You know, it hasn't been chewed on. It's a great hat. I have preserved this hat. So my other hat is over there. Let's see if I can reach it without knocking everything down. It's my other hat that looks battle worn. This is my daily M&S hat. It looks like, geez, like I put it through its paces in battle, but it's really comfortable. Okay. This one is my MoB TV hat. So I'm only wearing this during MoB TV because that way it'll stay nice. The color will be nice. It'll stay, you know, I won't beat it up as much. So go to Zazzle, go to EMANDES and find us there at Zazzle.com. Get your swag. We've got stuff there. Get your swag on. Get a bunch of stuff. Go for it because we have so much stuff and we've got so much stuff that's going to be coming over the months. You know, the holidays are coming. If you need something to get, you need to get something for someone. This is the time to do it. All right, I'm going to try putting up these links and let's see how quickly it shows up on StreamYard. Let's go. Cross your fingers. Whoa, look at that. You don't see it over there, but it's here. I hit the wrong link, but still. It was still quick. Let's try this one now. Whoa, look at that was instant. So I changed the settings and now it's faster. Fantastic. In StreamYard, I changed the settings. I lowered the DPI because it was at 1080 HD. So it's gonna look a little blurry right now, but I'm gonna work on it. I think it's a 360. I'm gonna up it to 480. Yeah. So, but it looks good on my end. And I don't know if it looks so good on your end. I know it looks good on my end. Anyway, we'll work on it. It's a whole thing in process. We got the new mic, which is down here. And I'm getting a stand for it. I don't even have a stand for it. Right now it's sitting on my desk precariously, just kind of balanced. So let's see, there's another link here. Is this the Zazzle link? Zazzle link. Here we go. What, you have a sore throat too? Your throat is getting sore too? All right, Zazzle link is coming up, guys. So that was the Ben Peaches link. This is the Zazzle link. Wow, look at that. Instantaneous. Almost amazing. All right. Yes, I need a hot lemon tea with honey and homemade chicken noodle soup. Who's that? That sounds like you.
Jillian.
Oh, thank you, Jillian. Yeah. So just as a side note, on a tangent, were you able to use anything that we discussed in our conversation? Are you working on that? Let me know. 480. I'm gonna do 480, not 720, because 720 slows everything down. I would click on a link and it would show up 3 days later. It's crazy. So this is like put on the link, I click on it, it shows on the screen. It's fantastic. So I'm gonna go with that. All right, so Patreon, we have new patrons. Okay. I want to give first I want to shout out all of the patrons because you guys are amazing. Thank you for going above and beyond for everything. You guys are fantastic. All right, so the new patrons this week are Leona Jackson, David Smith, and Stephen Huber. Thank you so much for signing up. And so I'm not to belabor this point too much, but again, you guys know what I say about Patreon. You guys are awesome. You guys are fantastic. And the stories that I write for Patreon are exclusive to Patreon. I might mention them, but I don't divulge what's in the story too much. But they're really, really awesome stories. And if you're not part of Patreon, you're not going to get access to those stories. And I would really feel bad if you couldn't get access to those stories. So join the Patreon. We have multiple tiers at different levels. And that way you can get access to the stories. So go to our patreon.com. The link will be coming up soon, right? Mm-hmm. And join Patreon and get access to the stories. Here's the Patreon page. I have it here. I'm going to put it up. I'm just amazed because I can click on the link and it can show almost immediately. Look at that. Wow. I'm just, amazing at that. I'm just amazed at that alone because it used to take a day and a half. So join our Patreon. You're supporting even more when you join the Patreon and you get access to different things. And you also, most importantly, aside from really the support, which is the most important part, is that you get access to exclusive Patreon stories. So please do that. Okay. The e-newsletter, I don't know. When is the next newsletter coming up? Do you know? It's coming soon. I mean, there's a whole many things happening. We have books going out, books that are signed that are going out, and Dolly's organizing, sending these books out all over, like internationally. So there's a lot of things happening. And, you know, she's going to keep you up to date. There aren't that many things happening. Like right now, the next book coming out is Shadow Queen. And after that, there's a Patreon story. And after that, it's Corpse Road. And after that, it's Immortal, which is Mountain Strong 22 and Mountain Strong 23. And then there's another Patreon story. And then there's Mountain Strong 24. So, and by that time, we're ready in the middle of next year. So she'll keep you posted. If you're not part of the newsletter, go to www.orlandoasanchez.com and join our newsletter, because that way you can keep up to date with everything that's kind of happening, because there's so many things going on. So that's the best way to, because if you're waiting for it to show up in the mob, it's not going to happen. So, I mean, it will, but you know, the mob, it's hard to explain the mob sometimes. The mob isn't really the place to find out where things are happening. The mob is just kind of place where we're hanging out, you know. Granted, you could ask things there, but it's really kind of just a flowing place that's in flux, and we kind of talk to people and excuse me. And there's not really a kind of like, okay, in a bulletin, this is what's happening. It's more like, hey, how's everyone doing? How are you doing? How you feeling? How's it going? You have any questions about writing or about a story? Have you read any good books lately? That kind of thing. So if you really want to know what's going on, you have to kind of join the newsletter, because Dolly does try to keep everyone up to date with what's happening. And the mob is that way in large part, most of it, because of the mods, because the mods are vigilant and they are eagle-eyed, and they are watching, and they make sure that the mob stays the mob, a safe place for people to spend time there and just kind of hang out. I'm going to hide that. See if it lets me. Yep. Oh my God, it's so amazing. So you guys know BookBub. So this is why you always hear me on the Mob TVs tell you, go to BookBub, sign up, leave your reviews, talk to, you know, just say, hey, I read this book, it was good. I read this book, whatever. But because if you have a presence on BookBub, when we do have these promotions, it helps us really push the books forward. So the Spiritual Warriors took #1 bestseller in metaphysical fiction yesterday. I was blown away. I didn't. There's no way I expected that. Just to give you some context, I wrote the Spiritual Warriors in 2012, if I'm not mistaken, right? 2012. 2012. I'm not expecting it to top any chart at this point, because you know it's fairly old, and everyone who knows me at this point has already gotten the Spiritual Warriors. But apparently not, because yesterday it took the #1 spot. So I was like, I was surprised. This is why I always ask you to join BookBub, leave your reviews, and then when we do these promos, you can bolster the promos by, you know, letting people know, share. And for those of you that spread the word yesterday, thank you so much for spreading the word, putting the post out. It wasn't shareable because we generated it in the mob, and it's a private group. So sometimes the posts in private groups they're not allowed to be shared. But you guys were able to copy and paste it and put it up. And for those of you that did, thank you. I really, really, really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And I always said the mob rocks. When it comes to things like that, you guys totally rock. And on binge books, we're on binge books. Join binge books, add your reviews, and follow me there. Follow, you know, the Monty and Strong and stories. I was having a great conversation with Ray yesterday, which is the warrior. And we were just talking about the books and the stories and things like that. And it was amazing. It was fantastic. Look, there's the binge books link. I'm just so amazed when the links come up really quick. But yeah, if you can't click on the links, I understand. Sometimes it's an FB thing or it's an iPad thing, if I'm not mistaken. I understand. Don't worry. It's, you know, it happens. Okay, can you give us a look? Who's asking me for a look at a regular day?
Julianne.
Wow. Okay.
Am I saying it right? Is it Jillian or Julianne?
Okay, let's ask. Jillian. Is it Jillian or Jillianne? Because the name is Jillianne, written Jillianne, but is it pronounced Jillian? Like join everything together. Please let us know in the comments. Okay, the mob is our favorite coffee shop hangout. I agree. It is. Hey, that's Craig Zimick. Hello, Craig El Dragon. The mob is a great place. Just good stuff. Yeah, try to keep it to just good stuff. We've had We've had some situations in the past, but the mods do not play. So early on, when the mods first came on, I established that the mods are really there to kind of make sure that the room remains a safe place. And unlike other rooms that may exist on Facebook, the mods in the mob are not to be messed with. They're like dragons, really. If you mess with them, you are crunchy and they will chomp on you and they will end you and punch you into the outer darkness. So we don't mess with the mods in the mob, and I don't mess with the mods. And so what they've managed to do is maintain the mob as a safe place to be in for everyone. And the only things that we don't do in the mob, which you can find anywhere else on Facebook if you're really looking for it, is we don't do politics, we don't do religion, and we don't address gender topics and things like that because they're too polarizing. Someone's going to get offended, and that's not what the mob is for. The mob is for us to hang out. Doesn't matter what you think, what you believe. We're all going to have the commonality of we all enjoy good stories. We're all readers, and we all enjoy sharing the books that we enjoy with each other, and that's what the mob is about. And I believe we have it somewhere in the group in the reading that it's there. Who's late? Who's that? Who came in late? Everyone turn and look at the person who came in late. Who was that?
That's Sarah.
Sarah. We're all looking at you, Sarah, because you came in late. We saw you. There you go. Hi, Sarah. Good morning. Don't be sorry. It's more important that you're here. That's what counts. Okay, Jillian. So it's all together. Jillian. Yeah. Okay. We'll discuss the book and audio updates because they haven't really changed from our last mob, but they have moved. So they have shifted. What are you OMGing, Rico? What are you OMGing? And I'm glad you got that Kindle thing resolved. Was that you, Rico? I think it was you. Yeah. I'm gonna put up this other link so you guys can go. Hey, just as an aside, I'm gonna put this link up because one, I can, and it goes up right away, which is awesome. And two, please stress test the site. Go check it out. There are audiobooks there. There are books there. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Go check it out and see. Just go look around and see what's there. Something might be new, something that you haven't seen, and just kind of give us a. Oh, the prequels there. Which one? All three are there. So the three prequels are there. The prequel to Blur, which is the deepest cut, to all the spiritual warrior books. So that's the Kara Shihan, not the Kardashians, the Kara Shihan, and The Last Dance, which is the prequel to Sepia Blue. They're all there. So I'm redoing Blur, the series, and so it'll be interesting to see how that develops over time. And I guess I should do a cover reveal at some point, right? I should, because the new cover for Blur is awesome. I don't think you guys have seen it. I know the mob hasn't seen it, so I may have to do a cover reveal for that. But today I'm going to do a snippet of Shadow Queen because I like doing snippets on the days that we have Kaffeeklatches. Okay, who's sneaking in for a few? Who is that?
That's Rebecca.
Welcome, Rebecca. Thank you for sneaking in for a few. Everyone's always welcome, even if you can only come for a little while. If my voice sounds a little like off, it's because I had a mild cold and it decided to park right here. And so that's why my voice sounds the way it is. Who's this? Oh, the prequels. Okay, let me put the link up because, hey, I can put links up there. That's awesome. If you haven't grabbed the free prequels yet, they're on this page specifically. Go. They're free. They're the prequels to CP Blue, the prequel to Spiritual Warriors, and the prequel to Blur. So go there. Oh, you were able to share your BookBub and link and pick on your FB. Excellent. I think I will do the cover reveal for Blur. Let me see. I don't know if I want to do it next week. Maybe the week after next, because we'll be closer to Blur coming out, re-releasing Blur. So I'll do a cover reveal on the Thursday, Art Thursday, and I'll do the new cover for Blur, which looks, oh my God, it's Deranged Doctor Design, and they really knocked that one out the park. It's crazy. It's insane. It's really good. I'm glad the Kindle thing worked out, Rico. I was concerned a little bit, Love my books. Gotta ask for any future plans for Bug. Who's that? Rebecca again?
Eddie.
Eddie. Hello, Eddie. Welcome. Future plans for Bug. Anything I say is gonna get me in trouble, Eddie. So, um, there are always future plans, but the thing is that when the trilogies are done and written, right, I kind of give it a little bit of time to breathe and simmer and let the story. There's a story that comes after Tales of the Gatekeepers. There's a story. It's already outlined and it's ready. And Bug is awesome. But if you're a patron, if you're a patron, you realize that the last story I wrote was Terminal Velocity, which was a Bug story. It was really fun. And Bug is as a character is great. So but I have to give her some space before she just overpowers everything. She was about to overpower yes, I did shout her out. She was about to overpower the Tales of the Gatekeepers. So let me just another shout out just in case for those of you that might have missed it or those of you that might be late. So just a shout out to the Patreons, the new ones. So Leona new tongue. Leona Jackson, David Smith, and Stephen Huber. Thank you for joining our Patreons. Our patrons on Patreon. Thank you. They really need to change that name, make it something else. Yeah, the Magic Squad. Thank you for joining the Magic Squad on Patreon. Much better. Thank you. Bud can't overpower M&S, but she's close. And Tiger is not too far away. Now that I'm writing Shadow Queen, yeah, Tiger's a little different because Tiger's broken, right? And when I say broken, I mean in the sense of she's dealing with a lot of psychological baggage. And so the way that she views life is through the lens. It's a fractured lens, right? And Sebastian kind of has to deal with that without letting her break further, because if she breaks further, people will die. And so he kind of has to make sure that she doesn't break further and almost try to make sure that she goes this way towards healing, but also realizing that she's dangerous and lethal at the same time. So it's really tough. It's a tightrope that Sebastian has to walk, not just with Tiger, but with all of the directive. And he's basically the big brother / father figure for the entire directive. But he's got to be able to measure how he deals with each one in a special way. It's a very different dynamic than Monty and Strong or any other the other series. The Sebastian Treadwell directive dynamic of the group is like, it's really Rico. Thank you so much. Oh man, it's a great cause. Please say hello to all the veterans and please thank them for their service. Have a great weekend, Rico, and thank you for just dropping in and saying hello. It's awesome. Life happens. I'll see you later, Craig. It does happen. Yeah. Welcome, Michelle. You're late, but you're here, and that's what matters. Who says they have to check out the Patreon? Eddie, go check it out. It's awesome. Broken characters make the best stories. Can't wait. Yes, the stray dogs. So you haven't met a few of the stray dogs. You've met Sebastian, obviously, Tiger, ox, rat, goat, rabbit in very limited doses, and who else have they met? Not that many other. You haven't met that many yet. There's still a few more that are out there. You haven't met snake. You haven't met dog. There's a few that you haven't met, but it's the whole Chinese zodiac. So it's 12 of them, and you will meet them in pieces or in sections or in different parts of the story. They will be showcased, you know. So, but it's a fun group, and I'm trying not to overwhelm. It's tough when you write ensemble stories because you don't want to. I learned this with the Spiritual Warriors. When you have too many characters, your readers get overwhelmed. So you want to kind of really narrow that down and focus on a few, and then over time we let the other characters start coming on stage as per se, you know. Thank you, Paige. Yes, dragon is actually Sebastian. Horse, pig, and dog are the ones that you haven't met really, or really interacted with. Dragon is Sebastian, but he doesn't go by dragon. He goes by his name. Oh no, Rabbit is not going to be stuck behind the front desk. Rabbit is currently looking for a receptionist, but she works hand in hand with Rat. She's counterintelligence for the Treadwell Supernatural Directive. And so she does a lot of field work, a lot of and each of the Treadwell, the TSD, the stray dogs, each of the stray dogs have a magical ability, right? And so her ability is to beguile, which is perfect for counterintelligence when you think about it, right? So she's not going to be stuck behind a desk for long. She's just going to find a receptionist, which they'll probably go through, because to be a receptionist for the Treadwell Supernatural Director requires a very specific type of temperament and be kind of unflappable, because they're going to be encountering pretty crazy things. And so the person that's going to be the receptionist has to be able to deal with the craziness without going crazy themselves. So we'll see. Maybe they'll go through 1, 2, or 3 receptionists, or that might be the running thing with the Treadwells. Like, what receptionist are we on now? Oh, that's number 40 or something like that. So we'll see how it goes in the story. Sometimes these characters come in and they don't last long, and sometimes they come in and they become part of the crew. So we'll see. We'll see. Back to work. Merry Christmas. So you have to go back to work, but thank you so much for topping in. Who is this?
Rebecca.
Oh, bye, Rebecca. Have a good rest of your weekend. Monkey hasn't been really seen either. Yes, Paige, you're right. They're all really interesting. So the entire directive, they have their abilities, they have their skills. Some of them out of the country, some of them are out on assignment. So they are kind of doing their own thing off screen, and they'll come in as needed or as the story requires. But you're not going to see, it's rare to see all 12 at once, you know? Yeah, they're like a psychological thriller for sure. Oh, MoB, yeah, it's going to be, I believe it's going to be in time for Christmas, Shadow Queen. So that'll be good. I'm aiming to have it in time for Christmas, yes. Along with the number 12 Patreon story. Wow, we're up to 12 Patreon stories. That's amazing. So who says that would be a good MoB gift? Who was that?
Rebecca.
Again? Oh, bye. Hi, Rebecca, again, and bye. Yes, it will be a good MoB gift. She said that on her way out. Oh, Sebastian's receptionist. Trying to think of who it would be. It's already developed in story. I sent you the part where Rabbit was talking about the receptionist, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're still discussing it with the rest of the directive. There are some candidates. I haven't created a character for the receptionist because I kind of want to let it grow organically in a way, but it can't be any of the 12 who are part of the directive. This has to be someone outside of those 12. We'll see how it happens. So right now, the candidates are being searched for by Rabbit, who's not really pleased about it because it's not her thing to be the receptionist, you know? Sure, Jasmine, yeah. So I don't know, I can't discuss Shadow Queen, but I will definitely put a snippet up today in the MoB, because for the weekend, that'll be fun. A golem. No, it's gonna have to be a little bit more than a golem. What I think is maybe if Rabbit can find, I don't think Rabbit will have trouble finding a receptionist. The problem is, will the receptionist survive long enough in the job? That's the problem. So Rabbit has to find someone resilient enough, both physically and mentally, that can do the job without having a psychotic break and going, losing their mind. And that's basically what it is. So we'll see. I'm sure she'll find someone that will be able to fill that role. And then when she does, whoever it is or whatever it is, then they'll take an active role within the Treadwell Supernatural Directive. It's turning into a really fun write in terms of the story. And I have to work in, so I'm weaving Regina into the story, and it's getting, in my head, I haven't really written it out yet, but in my head, it's getting really interesting. And then I'm going to write it out. And then Dolly's going to give me grief for the things that I write, because this is going to be as close as I get to romance, urban fantasy romance. And as any story that I've written, but it's going to definitely be in this one. So we'll see. Yeah. My model for a receptionist would be like Moneypenny in Bond, but it has to be even more than that, because this receptionist is going to be a little bit more in the field or dealing more with, face to face with magical creatures or beings of power, and they can't be phased by any of that. So I'm wondering if I should lean towards an older receptionist, so it's like someone who's like a little older, an older person who really has basically seen it all and is not phased by anything, or a younger person with an old soul, so that they still aren't phased by anything, like Alfred. Yeah, very much like Alfred, who, he deals with Bruce Wayne as Batman. Bruce Wayne comes in, Batman comes in, he's all banged up and cut, and he's like, okay, let me get the medical kit and start stitching him up. He says, really, master, if you're going to be, breaking bones on a regular basis, perhaps you should take up, some first paramedic courses, things like that, Oh, a shifter is a good idea, Enid. I will consider that. That's a really good idea. Chris is asking, when will Monty and Roxanne get a date story? I don't know. Because that whole situation is shifting. It's changing. And the dynamic is such, if you remember Entropy, where Roxanne had to get serious with what was going on. So we'll see if they have time for a date, because the situation, the things around Roxanne are changing, and she's still being hunted, but that's going to start coming to the forefront. They may not have time for a date anytime soon. So we'll see. And it's not like Simon's date where, Michiko kind of came in at the end. I mean, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't read the date. You should read the date by now. Yeah, I think a young person, old soul. It should look like a young person, but really be an old soul. And that way, we're talking about, we just shift gears to the receptionist again. And that way, there's a lot of play there. There's a dichotomy there, A Monty Grovel story. What, have you not read these 21 books of Monty and Simon? Monty doesn't do groveling. So I don't know about Monty groveling. An apology, maybe, but Monty groveling, yeah. Nope, that's not gonna happen. He's not gonna grovel. So that's just not his character. He's gonna have a hard time just admitting that he may have been wrong, because it's probably the person's perception. So groveling is pushing it a little far. But I got which one was the review we got about how Michiko treats Simon? There was a review about that.
That she's cool.
Yeah.
Dismissive of him.
Yeah, so Michiko's dismissive of Simon, and she's cold towards him, and she treats him really badly, and poor Simon. And I'm like, what books have you been reading up until now? That's how she's treated him, I think, from the beginning. Yeah, there's nothing new there. It's like it's been the same things from the first time you've met those two characters. So, but he's getting better. He's getting stronger. It's going to be interesting to see how he starts stepping into being having the battle form with Peaches, and how that changes his power dynamic a bit. And we'll see. And of course, if you read Entropy, which I hope I know you've read Entropy. If you read Entropy, you know that Monty's kind of have to go back to school, has to kind of relearn some stuff. So that's going to be fun, because that's not Monty's forte in terms of having to relearn things, or he's had things removed, so now he has to relearn other things. That's going to be tough. Pulling on his sleeves. Yeah, that's a very Monty-esque trait. And so he might pull on his sleeves, and he might mumble a few words that might have to be clarified a bit. But an apology or groveling, no, that's not a Montague thing. I think he'd rather get hit by orbs of power before he grovels. It's not gonna happen. I mean, he stood in front of creatures that could have made him grovel, and he doesn't. It's like Simon. Simon is another one. It's like, you mess with his family, he's coming for you. He's gonna raise the earth to protect his family. So they have very defined character traits in terms of that. So we'll see. And I don't know if he's gonna apologize, but actually, she's the one that kind of kicked him out of Haven the last time they were together. So you got to go. Bye. Get out. And so, and he was like, I can't believe she did that, you know? All right, let me get into the book and audio updates real quick. All right, so before I get into this, I'm just gonna give a blanket. Okay, really, I'm just gonna say it. We promote indie authors. I want the shirt in the Zazzle store. Write it down somewhere. Write it down. So we promote our indie authors. So we're not gonna go through the whole list of everything, but don't forget we've got this, the list grows. I mean, it gets big. So off the top of my head, we've got John Logsdon, Ben Zackheim, Nazi Noor. Let's see, Kimbra Swain, Brad Magnarella, MD Massey. Jesus, so many. Stephanie Fox, Alex Steele, Rick Gualtieri, Duo, everyone in the Duo, Nicole Grotepas, the whole Duo group. So Chris Chrisman, because he's our own Chris Chrisman. Oh, thank you, Jasmine. Chris Chrisman. Yes, the one that's here, Chris Chrisman, not Chris Chrisman. So we've got a bunch of indie authors that we promote. So we support our indie authors. So go out. If you find an indie author that you like, that you're enjoying, or that you picked up and you discovered, don't keep them to yourselves, please. In the MoB, use the L3 format. Write L3 first because it's Larry's literary list that we're trying to destroy his Kindle. Put the L3 first, then put the title, and then put the author with a link if possible, and we'll all share in your newfound author. So please hashtag L3 and share it with the MoB so we can all support our indie authors. Heather G. So there you go. So this Heather G. Harris Otherworld series, put it in the MoB, please. L3, Heather G. Harris, the title of the book, and then her name, and a link if possible. And that way we can share these books with everyone. Never apologize is a sign of weakness. Right. Montague's really hold on to that. I think the one I could see apologizing would be Dex, but that's because he deals with the Morrigan. And it would be prudent that if you make a mistake with the Morrigan, it would be prudent to apologize to her if you want to continue living. So that would be a wise course of action, I think. Okay, so let me go into the book and audio update. So Entropy is doing really well. I mean, it's got a boatload of reviews, and it was in the new releases for a solid month, I think, if not a little bit more. Amazon kind of kicks it out after a month because it's no longer a new release, but it did really well. I want to thank you all for supporting Entropy. As a fantastic, showing, and you guys were awesome in that, and it was a fun write. So now we're just gonna start with Corpse Road, and Corpse Road is gonna be all I keep hearing when I say the word Corpse Road is that line from The Sixth Sense. I see dead people, and so that's kind of going to be the through line for Corpse Road because it does deal with the necrotic aspects of Ebensoul and Simon. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so if you haven't left a review for Entropy, I mean, at this point, I find that hard to believe because everyone pretty much left the reviews. But if you haven't, please do. And I would totally and completely appreciate you leaving a review for Entropy. Shadow Queen is being worked on. Let's see. I'll definitely put up a snippet today, and so you guys can see where it's at. And it's been a challenge to write Treadwell Supernatural Directive because it's not Monty and Strong. Even though they're kind of related and they're in the same world, it's not the same kind of story. It's a little darker. It's not as dark as Grey. I don't think I've written anything as dark as Grey, but it's not as light as Monty and Strong. Although Monty and Strong has got a little darker lately too. But on the spectrum, Monty and Strong is the lightest in terms of that. Then there's probably Treadwell, and then there's Grey, which is really dark. So yeah, and Grey is the one that if you notice, Grey is the one that you don't see too much of in terms of the books being written. As I've said it before, it just takes a different headspace, and it's not a headspace I enjoy getting into often. So I have to kind of temper the Night Warden books, and it's a shame because I really, really like the Night Warden books, but it's like what it does to my head. I need like a week or two to recover just from writing a Night Warden book, because it's just the way the space of Gray's head and how he deals with the world, and I need to I need to debrief and de-stress from Night Warden books. It's just weird that way. I don't know how to explain it. That's just the way it is. And Monty and Storm, I could write like nothing. It's like, you know, it's just fun. And you know, I think what it is with the Gray books is that Gray doesn't the Night Warden books doesn't have a Peaches. Even though Frank is there and Cole is there, there's no Peaches for Gray to have a foil. Because in Monty and Strong, Peaches is the heart, right? And no matter what happens, Peaches is the character that brings kind of the lightness out to the story and brings out the humanity in Simon and even Monty. So because there's no character like that in Night Warden, it's mostly dark. And so going into there, I have to bring my lantern, and I gotta be ready, and I gotta be ready to stay in the dark for a while in the Night Warden stories. But they're so good. It's just that it takes a toll. It's like a storm. It's like walking into a storm, and you're getting buffeted by the winds and the rain and everything, the sound, and so when you come out weary from all of that. But it's such a good story. I really enjoy the Night Warden stories. So don't take that to mean that I don't like the Night Warden stories. It's just that it takes a little bit more of a toll when I write them, which is why I don't write them as often. But I do have to get to another Night Warden story because there's only 3 of them, and it's like 21 M&S. So Corpse World will start in December, next month. This month, actually, we are in December. This is December 1st. So this month, Corpse World starts like mid-December, and it ends, I want to say like mid-January or so, a little bit towards the end of January, and you guys will have it by the end of January. Yeah. And then, so let me just, okay, so I want to emphasize this before I jump into what Marie's asking, okay? If you guys want signed books, you got to move quick because it takes a while for us to get the books. Dolly has to prep them, get them ready, make them look gorgeous because she got this special wrap, and she's got a special label, and they got to get signed, and then she packs them, and then there's a post office run, and that takes, what, 8 days, 7 to 8 days? More or less, about a week or so. So if you want signed books, and I know you do, you've got to start ordering now if you want to have it by the end of this month. Okay, and there's still no guarantee because it's holidays, you know. But you know, you want to get gifts for people, you want to gift them a book. We're working on getting hardcovers for 2 Million Butterflies, but we got a version, and it's still a little off, so we got to work on it to make some tweaks. But put your orders in early, or email Dolly or PM Dolly and let her know, because the sooner you can do this, the sooner you guys can get your signed copies. And those of you who have signed copies, if you'd be so kind to put pictures up and let people know what these things look like, you know, or your signed books, or put a picture with you the signed book, that'd be awesome. Okay, so please, the shipping. So the next shipping is going out on Monday by USPS, United States Postal Service, not UPS. And it takes about 2 to 5 business days to ship them out, depending on where. I think she's still working on the international aspect of everything. So give her some time to kind of work out all the kinks from that. But domestically, it's about 2 to 5 days, 2 to 5 business days. Okay. All right. In December, we have another Brew and Chew stories coming out this month at some point. I don't know when, but it's coming out. The second one is coming out, and your Patreon story is coming out. So there we go. Okay, let's get to some questions. If I was a reader, if you were a reader, here's a question by Marie. If you were a reader, which would you prefer holding in your hand, Night Warden or Gatekeepers? I don't understand holding in my hand with like the actual book, or I don't quite understand the question. I'm hoping I'm being obtuse. Reading? Which one I read? Me personally, I would read, geez, that's tough. I was going to say Night Warden, but then I remembered Bug. It's a tough one. It's like asking me which arm would I prefer to lose. Okay, it's hard. It's like, I don't know. If I was pressed and I had to pick one, I would pick Night Warden. Yeah, I would pick Night Warden. But Also, I could pick gatekeepers because the gatekeeper books are bigger right now. There's more to read. So, but definitely Night Warden. I would definitely pick Night Warden. Yeah. Only because for me, and this is just my personal opinion, for me, Gray is the closest to me out of all the characters. Gray. This is the one that I identified with the most, which is probably another reason why I kind of like I go, you know, because it's so he hits a little close to home. And so that's why. Okay, Dolly, can you see the difference when he's writing Night Warden stories? Can you see it? Yeah. Can you see the difference?
Yes. Especially towards the end of the book.
Oh, interesting. Right.
It's not marked. It's not like
it's a subtle thing.
Complete opposite the way of being.
Jekyll and Hyde. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Kind of leave you alone a little bit more.
Yeah, I do notice that you I do notice. So this is what Dolly does during the Night Warden. When I'm writing Night Warden, and she knows what I'm writing, whatever project I'm writing. But during Night Warden, I get a lot more space to be alone. So it's not that she doesn't talk to me or anything, like I'm quarantined or something. But there's less like conversations during the day when I'm writing, you know? And so yeah, it's a subtle thing, but I have noticed that part, that you kind of leave me alone. Like you give me a little bit more space. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's another reason why I kind of spread out the instances of Night Warden books, because they're so close to home. They're so close to who I am. Okay, let's ask some questions because we're at that time. So let me go ask. I'm gonna bring them up right now. I will not be able to see you guys. Okay, here we go. Audrey asks, and as always, thank you so much for the questions. You guys are fantastic. These questions make all the difference. I really do appreciate when you guys take the time out to come up with thoughtful questions. I try not to ever read them prior to, because that way the answer is spontaneous and fresh. Audrey asks, Orlando, how old were you when you started writing other than school assignments, employment? And what did you write? I want to say early puberty, teens, when I was DMing for Dungeons and Dragons, and I was doing the actual dungeons. And so I was writing stories for the dungeons. So I would say 11, 12, I started journaling, and then 13, 14, I started DMing. And around that time, I started writing stories to go with the dungeons. So I would say 13, 14. And that's what I was writing. So I was writing Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. And those are like books. They're involved. And you kind of have to have stories for every town that people go into, every castle they go into, every character they meet. You have backstories and stories. And so it's really, really, really involved. Yeah. If you've ever seen someone DM, you realize that a DM has to be really quick on their feet and be able to think of outcomes in the moment, you know, and usually based on a roll of a die. So you have to be very nimble on your feet and really sharp to do that kind of stuff. So you have to have a lot of stuff prepped beforehand. Dolly, you ready? Have you written outside of school or employment, and what did you write? You don't have to speak loud because you got the super mic now. Okay, not that low. Jeez.
I've written when I was much younger. It started with stories that are more childish. You know, when I was much younger, I love to read Enid Blyton books. I don't know if you know her. She's a UK author, and she's written books like Naughty, Secret 7, Famous 5. And so I would write little kid mystery books. So basically the premise is a group of friends, or some of them are family, brother, sister, and you know, the friend, and they have the dog, and they come across some mystery. That's and they fun. Go off on an adventure. And I would write those in French.
Wow.
And then there was another.
Have any of them survived?
I have a page like somewhere in
That's awesome.
One, and I would also do the illustrations.
Awesome.
Funny.
Total package.
And there was another book. I forget who the author was, but it's a French book called Fontemas, and it was basically.
What does that mean, Fontemas?
Fontemas. It was so it's a here's the story, the premise. So it's a young girl, and she would go
You
out
see what
at
you did,
night.
Audrey?
She would. Fantomas comes from the word phantom, which means ghost.
Okay.
So she would go out
Oh, phantom. Like phantom.
at night
Right.
and like leave a calling card and solve mysteries.
Oh, cool.
So I found myself like her, and I even was like, how can I leave the house and go solve mysteries
And have your
in
parents
the
kill you?
Yes. in the
Yes.
middle of the night? What else? Then that evolved
In the middle of the
in
night,
my-
you were planning how to
And-
leave the house in the middle of the
Yes,
night,
and
right?
and with my best friend, we were we made a calling cards. And
Right.
we were planning it out, how to do and what to do.
How old are you at this point?
I was young, like 10, 11,
Oh,
12.
and you're gonna leave the house in the middle of the night to go solve mysteries.
Yes.
Yes.
It's having so cool, and she had her little outfit, the
Right.
all black outfit with the
That would have gone over so
with
well with your
like-
parents.
and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, the
Like a mask?
face,
Yeah.
the eye mask,
Right, right.
So that one.
Very avant-garde. Very cool.
And then I progressed in later teenage years. I was inspired by the Arabian Nights, 1001.
Oh, Scheherazade.
Yes,
Yes.
I love that.
That's a
And
great.
so
That is a great story.
My stories were, so I started reading so many of the stories, and then they became more,
1001.
Yeah, romance and that kind
Sure.
of stuff.
You're older now at
And
this
of
point.
course,
Yeah.
I had sprinkled some more spicy stuff in there.
Of course.
And then life happened, and I went off to college, and there wasn't
No more.
no more writing.
We got to go back to get some writing for sure. Okay. Orlando, that's a great answer. I don't have to answer anything else. I'm good to that. Orlando, one more question from Audrey. If you can make one rule that everyone had to follow, what rule would it be? Simple. Be kind. I think if everyone followed that rule, the world would be a much, much better place. So if I can make one rule that everyone had to follow, be kind. I hope that's a good answer. I mean, that's my answer. Okay. Avon, who I don't think is here today, but we're going to answer her questions. And if you're here, you're watching this, and it's this late in the episode, and you're watching this later, I thank you and I appreciate you for watching the show. And I'm sorry you couldn't be here live, but this is why we record them, so you can watch them later. Okay, Avon Perry says, this is like a long, several-part question / comment. I read the story of how Monty met Simon, but how did their bond suddenly become closer than brothers? That's part one. I would say it became closer than brothers through adversity, through the things that they've gone through. Okay, so I can see the case of the children being an impetus, but I'm fuzzy on the follow-through. Because they've saved each other's lives enough times, and if you've ever been in a situation where you've had to save someone's life, you understand right away that makes you closer than a brother. If you've ever been in a situation that's life and death, or your life has been threatened and someone comes in and steps in, or you come in and you step in and save someone's life, that creates a bond, and that bond is closer than brothers. If I can sneak another inquiry in, who is paying the rent? Okay. They're roommates and even got a larger space, but I cannot see Simon just letting Monty pay for everything. You used to allude to Olga getting paid, but now they're always fleeing and fighting. They have not had an actual paying case in a while. I wouldn't want Olga looking for me about her money. What have I forgotten that explains the rent issue? They bought their place. Monty is independently wealthy, and he bought the property. I think, I don't know, very early on, when they shifted the spaces and they got a larger space, somewhere in there I remember stating that Monty outright bought it because he's been around for over almost 200 years or more, and so he's very wealthy and was able to buy the space. And so they own their space. They don't pay rent. They own it. That's why you haven't heard about leaving Olga an envelope or paying rent, because they own the space outright. And so that's why. And Simon has no problem with Monty paying for the rent because Simon doesn't have that kind of money. So that's why. Great question though. I hope I answered to your satisfaction. If it's not to your satisfaction, you could always PM me. I have another question after Chris's question. So I didn't forget you, Jillian. I will answer your question. All right, Chris Christman asks, this is more of a infrastructure, behind the scenes kind of thing. Which ads work best for you? Amazon, Facebook, etc. Wow. In the 10 years that I've been doing this, almost 11 at this point, I started early on with Facebook ads, but I do have Amazon ads and I have BookBub ads, BookBub ads. Sorry, my voice is like, but I would say we get the best return from Facebook ads. But the deal with Facebook ads is that it's a steep learning curve. You have to really kind of study Facebook ads and how they work and how to create them and how to target them. There's a lot of studying and understanding that goes into Facebook ads. Amazon ads also, but not as much as Facebook ads, I found. But also I haven't invested much time and effort into Amazon ads, though I hear, your mileage may vary, I hear that they're just as effective as Facebook ads. And for certain genres, I'm sure that they say that they're more effective. So, but with Amazon ads, you have to put a lot of ads up. And with Facebook ads, you don't have to put a lot of ads up, but you have to eventually increase the ad spend. That's how Facebook ads get more effective, because you get them to reach more people. But the best advertisement is always the same one. It's word of mouth. So you write the best book that you can and get people to talk about it. That's basically the best way it has been for writing or for anything in terms of getting the word out. It's that viral, have you read this book? It's awesome. You got to read this book. Same thing like when we see a movie. Have you seen that movie? Kind of like what we did with Blue Eye Samurai. Poor Glenn, who's now waiting for season 2. But it's like, have you seen this movie, this season? It's fantastic. And then one person tells another person, tells another person, tells another, and eventually it reaches this critical mass and everybody's talking about it. So we're trying to do that with Monty and Strong. So it takes time and just takes a lot of passing it from person to person, but it'll happen. Okay. Do I have the most recent M&S to go out? I don't even know what that means, Jasmine. Okay. So earlier on in the episode, Jillian asked about a day in my life, my writing routine. Wow. Okay. So regular day writing. My regular day, I try to get up really early in the morning. Early for me is 4 or 5 in the morning. 4 when I'm on point. 5 o'clock. 5:30 sometimes. But I try to get up between 4 and 5. Do some training. I'll do some reading of what I'm writing in that time frame. I'll read something just to kind of get the idea of where I'm at in terms of the story. Then usually it's a school run, so that takes me out for a few hours. I go because the school's far from where we live, so we'd ride to the school and come back. If I don't have to find parking, because usually I might have to find parking, but if I don't have to find parking, I come back, and then I can kind of digest the news of the day or what's happening. But I try not to do too much, because too much news is not good for you either. So I try to limit how much news I look at and what the sources are. Then once that's done, I dive into whatever the project I'm working on currently. Like right now would be Shadow Queen. So I'll read, if I'm on chapter 11 or chapter 12, I'll read chapter 11. And then what I'll do is I'll robustify. What I mean by robustifying is I go through the chapter. I'm not editing. I'm just seeing where something might be missing. I need to add something, or I need to clarify something, or I need to insert something else to get the idea out. Bye, Jasmine. Thank you so much for being here today. So that's what I'll do for, I guess, like 20 minutes. I'll do that. And then as I'm doing that, it's like starting the engines. It's like getting everything ready. And once that chapter is done, I just keep writing into the next chapter. So I may start in the middle of a chapter. I may start at the beginning of the chapter. But I'll start somewhere in that chapter and keep writing till I get to the end of that chapter. And that's like the on-ramp to that day's writing. And then I'll start writing for the day. And each day has a certain word quota amount that I have to hit to, let's say, hit the goal of, let's say, 55,000 or 70,000 or 80,000, depending on what I have to hit for that book. I use a program called Pacemaker. If I'm not mistaken, it's called Pacemaker. I'm pretty sure it's Pacemaker. And that kind of, it breaks it up. And really, if you haven't gotten this, it's, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, I believe there's a free version. You should try it out if you're an author. It really does streamline your writing process. Go to pacemaker.com. It streamlines your writing process, and it makes it easy for you to keep track of what you've written, how much you've written, how much you need to write, so forth and so on. And then as I'm doing that, I can see, okay, I need to get to I need to get 3,000 words in. I try not to let it get to 3,000-4,000 because it's a lot of words. The most I've done in one day is 12,000 words, and my brain was like oatmeal the next day because it's just a lot of words in one day. 12K. So I try to keep it reasonable around 2 to 3K, and I can usually surpass. I can usually go to 4K, but 2K is really good. If I can keep it onto 1,500. Usually what I'll do is I'll do the 1,500 and then I'll do something else that's writing related, but not creative in the terms of I'll do some editing or I'll work on another part of a story. I'll work on an outline and things like that, but not generating new material because the writing does take it out of you. And if you just kind of constantly do that during the day, you end up at the end of the day just completely tired. Your brain is just like, I'm done. And you need to kind of put back into that well. So that's when I'll do things like Destiny, or I'll read a book that I'm currently reading, like just stuff that's not generative because you need to give your brain a break, right? So it's important to get enough rest. It's important to watch other things, watch anime, read books. Please, if you're a writer, please read. It's really important to read because you get to be exposed to other authors' writings, and how that helps you is you can see how it's done and you can see how you don't want to do it. So you have to read broadly. So you can say, oh, I don't want to write like that. Wait, that sentence was excellent. I want to write like that. Bye, Marie. Have a great weekend. And so reading is really important, but also watch movies, watch anime, watch TV shows, be broad about what you consume in terms of creative stuff and try to do good stuff, obviously. Because that also informs you and it also helps you develop and kind of find your voice. Like, yeah, I want to sound like that, but I don't want to sound like that. Or there's no way I can reach that right now, but I can definitely attain that. So it kind of gives you a map, especially if you're starting out and you're trying to find your voice. That's really important. And then you got to write. So, but after I do my writing for the day, I do, even if it's like 1,500 and I can go more, I try not to because I don't want to push it to the point where I know myself. If it's only 1,500 for the day, I'll go to 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. And then my brain is like done. And then the next day I'm kind of like, I'm a little slow to do that day's quota because I pushed it. Now, that completely gets tossed out the window if a deadline is looming and I got to hit that deadline. And then it's just like, okay, how many words I got to do today? 8,000? It's 8,000. Let's go. And I tell Dolly, I just need coffee. Nobody talk to me. I'm in the room. I'm doing my thing. I got to get this deadline. I got to get these words in. And she knows. And she's like, she'll just leave me alone. She won't even, you don't even come near me. She just leaves me alone. She's like, leave your father alone. She gets a broadcast out. She uses the broadcast voice. Leave your father alone. Oh, don't bother him. He's writing. So it depends on where the deadline is in terms of that kind of thing. But I try to space my deadlines out far enough so I don't have to have those crunch days, even though I have a deadline coming up soon, but I'll be okay. I hope that answers Jillian's question. I hope that answers your question, Jillian. All right. Let's see. Someone's asking me, so you don't write every day? You said something, huh? That's Jillian. Oh, Jillian. Yeah, I don't write every day. I try to write every day, but writing every day, it's like, I hope you understand the reference. It's like having a sort of Damocles over you, like hanging over you. If you don't write, you're not a real writer if you don't write every day. No, for me personally, no writer works that way. I'm not saying you have to wait for inspiration to hit you and eventually the word muse will come down and no. Let's not get that crazy, okay? You should make an effort to write every day. Will you write every day? No. There will be family things you need to take care of. I need to get the car repaired. You'll have to go to Costco and shop for the whole afternoon. One of the kids will get sick. You have to go, you'll have to go to track or fencing or whatever. You know what I mean? The life will happen and you may not be able to get to write every day. Now, and we're almost out of time. To prevent that, if you can wake up super early before the day starts for everyone. Get up at 4. I've done it. You get up at 4, you get in 500 words, you get in 1,000 words, you've gotten some writing in, right? and then your day can start, and everything can happen during the day, but you know with the knowledge that you've gotten your day's writing in. Not everyone is a morning writer though, and not everyone is an evening writer, so you kind of have to find where your energy level for writing is the best. But understand that life will happen. So rather than having daily quotas, sometimes what I like to do is have a weekly quota, and that way you can kind of, if you miss one day, you can make it up the next day or the next few days, because as long as by the end of the week you've hit your quota. You don't even need to have a quota. That's just me. That's my method. I like it because it creates a structure, and I can, say, okay, this week I have to hit X amount of words so I can finish the book by X. That's just me. I like to impose those deadlines on myself, which is why you'll see my books come out kind of regularly, because if you don't wait for the inspiration to come, you can start planning. Okay, this month I have this book, this month I have this book, this month I have this book, and you can start having a structure to your releases, and your readers will learn to expect your books on a regular pace. And it's better for you as a writer to kind of have that relationship with your reader that's based on consistency. And in this craft, consistency is important. You don't want to write a book this year or this month and then write another book 4 months from now, and then write another book next year. And those days are gone. You can't, even traditionally published authors don't do that. They write 2 books a year, and that's a lot for them. So, and that's also because they're constrained by their publishing houses, because publishing houses have a certain schedule, and it's not just one author. They have 8, 10 authors releasing books. And so they want to make sure in a certain slot, this author is releasing their book. But independent authors, I know authors who release a book every month, like clockwork. Every month there's a book coming out. And the ones who write novellas or short stories, almost every other week they're releasing a short story. So you can do it depending on what you're using as your medium. Like if you're writing short stories, you can write a short story every week. If a short story is 5,000 words, you can crank out 5,000 words in a week. Easy. So you can write a short story every week. There are people who do that on what is it, Wattpad, WhatsApp, what is it? Wattpad. They do serial, like that Amazon thing, Vella, which is novella. It was a serialization. So like this an episode every week. That's that kind of thing. All depends on the structure and the discipline that works for you as a writer, as an author. That's really the key. It has to work for you. You cannot try to conform to a method that works or a methodology that works for another author, because it's not yours. And so it's going to be constraining, and eventually you're going to rebel. You're not going to write. Your brain will short circuit. It'll be like, I'm not doing this. And you'll get blocked. My opinion on block, right? Block is just like, it's usually fear or some kind of obstruction, but it's because you're not writing in the way that's conducive to your writing, Let's see. I don't think you can. So writing every day equals brain be mush. Yeah. Again, I've done 12K. I don't recommend it for anyone, but there's some people who write 2,000-3,000 words like nothing. So it depends on, you have to find your method of writing. This is really, it's one of those weird paradoxes of writing where, you kind of, no one knows how it's done. If don't take anything that I'm saying as gospel or as the rule, the law on writing, because no one knows how it's done. All you can say as an author is, this is what works for me. And you have to find your way. There's many paths up the mountain, but you got to find your own. You got to make your own. It's really usually making your own path. Okay. I don't think I'm guessing this means I don't think you can write every day because of the energy used. You need that day in between or something. I mean, I did NaNoWriMo 1 year, and wow. Yeah, I did NaNoWriMo 3 years in a row and beat it 3 years in a row. But I was like, I'm not doing that again. I basically do a NaNoWriMo almost every other month. So I'm used to it, but it's a discipline. It does take practice. Rico says your system works well for you and for us to read it. I try to provide the stories for the readers on a regular basis, with the exception of, I only have 2 times I messed up on that. Sepia Blue, Nightmare, between Nightmare and Nameless, that was 4 years, and Blur right now, which is between Blur and the second Blur book, the second John Kane book, was 10 years. But in that time, I was writing other things. I didn't just wait for the inspiration of John Kane to come to me. I've been writing other things in that time. Yeah. Okay. Easy, he says. Although after you get that routine established, it becomes easier. And I don't think it's ever easy. It just becomes easier. You get used to it. But I don't think it's ever easy. Anyone who tells you writing is easy, I would say, from my personal opinion, has not written much, because writing is work. Writing is hard. Okay, you look. I'll give you the example. You blank page or blank screen, create.
He'll be a full half meter short of the Helio,
Okay.
and that's before Helio's ready
Wow.
to push down
What is that?
even more with the origin trim. So there you have it. That's
Excuse me. I don't know what. Oh, I know what it
continue to
is.
find
Okay.
more holes and see what.
Okay. So that was just another video that was up. So you're basically telling yourself, okay, there's a blank page, there's a blank screen, create. And it's easy to say that, but it's not easy to do that. And it's not easy to do that in a way that's going to entertain other people. And that's the hard part. So yeah, it's easy to get into that routine, but it takes a lot of time to get into that routine. And yeah, but you can definitely do it. It's doable because I do it, and other people do it, and other people have done it before me, and other people do it after me, and other people do it concurrently, and you can do it. You definitely can. But you have to be willing to do the work. Unfortunately, writing doesn't do itself. It'd be nice if it did, but it doesn't, right? Even with AI, writing doesn't do itself. So, all right, if there are any other questions? Do we have any other questions? Are there any other questions over there? Oh, awesome. Am I missing any other comments? The last one I have is writing is too individual. And thank you. I just got thank you. Oh my God, my voice. Yeah. Next time I get tea and honey and channel my inner Monty. Yeah. All right, listen, you guys are fantastic and awesome. I thank you so much for being here. And those of you that stay to the end, because I know life happens and you got to go do things. Episode 107 has been amazing. You guys are awesome. Let me know how the mic, if the mic is good, because, you know, it was an investment. So I hope it's working well. Thank you, Rico. I will do the best to talk less, you know, because I talk so much. I really don't. Maybe when I'm talking to Dahlia, it's the only time I really talk a lot. I will. I'm not feeling bad now. It's just my voice. It's just everything is right here. It's just like, you guys are awesome. I want to thank you all for another fantastic and amazing and awesome show. Thank you, Chris, for your technomancy, because you're the man. I want to thank each of you for yesterday supporting our BookBub. I think it's still on sale, right, for a week. So if you haven't, share the BookBub post with other people. We got a week at 99 cents. Copy, paste it, put it up, paste it everywhere, and let people know that the Spiritual Words is 99 cents. I appreciate it. I would appreciate it if you could, and I appreciate it if you do it. We got new comments. Hold on. And then we're going to close up really quick. Yeah, guys, have a great weekend. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Rico, for coming back. I'm glad you got your Kindle thing settled and sorted out, which is awesome. And as always, look, I clicked on it. Also that I can click on it, it's right there. Boom. I know I'm giddy over the simplest things, but you don't know how the pain it is to see click and 10 years later it shows up on the screen. So I'll close with this. You guys are fantastic. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being here. Every time we have a MoB TV, it's an amazing thing. Our next MoB TV is the 15th. So close to Christmas. We're getting closer and closer to Christmas. All right. So as usual, the 3 B's: be kind, be unstoppable, be uncommon. You guys have a great weekend as I lose my voice. And you guys have a fantastic weekend. Be healthy. And I will see you in the room. If you have any things you need to, like, you want to address with me, send me a PM and I'll answer your questions if you didn't get to ask it here. Okay? All right. Bye, guys. Say bye.
Bye.
Oh, you know what?
Weekend.
Let's end with music because I always forget. So we're going to end with music this time. Let me put the music. No, yeah, you're going to sing?
No, yeah.
Oh, really? I'm going to sing? I don't think I'm going to sing. Oh, I gotta close. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Sing a Barry White song.
A Barry White song? Yeah, okay. You hold on to that thought. I'm gonna put. Maybe we could ask the mob which one they want. Which theme do you guys want to close it out? I got. Pick one or the other. You got Michiko's theme, Peach's theme, or Simon's theme. Which one? I don't think they're gonna pick Michiko. But so Michiko's, Peaches, or Simon? Which theme, guys? Give you 5 seconds and I'm picking one because the show's almost done. Okay, I'm picking one. I know which one I'm gonna pick.
They've said Peaches. What's a surprise?
Ah, Peaches. That's the one I was gonna pick too. You guys are awesome. Read my mind. Sorry, Peaches. Peaches wins. Putting it up. It's gonna be loud. If it comes up. Come on. But listen, it's gonna do it. Let it do it at the end. It's okay. I don't think it can come up. That's sad. I'm sad now. So sad. This is why we always say music is life. Because apparently, music doesn't always carry you. All right, guys. It's intensely saying. Right, we'll close out with that. I'm gonna leave the screen, leave the music up.